You are 28 years old, inside a burning drone cockpit in Sector 7, when the alarms scream. You claw at your helmet release, but the system is locked. A soothing robotic voice tells you, the shift is incomplete, as gas floods your mask. You live in a box, stacked on top of a million other boxes. The sky is a thick, orange soup that smells like sulfur and profit. While far above, the people who own you float in pristine white silence. But your contract says no breaks, so the machine forces your mind back to work. In the simulation, you built a garden you will never touch. The beauty is just a layer of code over the rot. But your story does not start in the chair. It starts when you still had hope. You are 6 years old, playing with trash, on a floor that vibrates from the factory below. Your mother shows you the poster that promises a green world. The market screens are the only light in the alley, brighter than the sun. The man in white tells you that hard work builds Eden. You salute back, believing every word. By 10, you are already training your brain to sync with the grid. You are faster than the others, and the machine notices. They stamp your ID with a promise of escape. At that age, you stand in line to sign away your future. The supervisor looks for weakness, discarding anyone who shakes. He checks your hands like you are a racehorse. One nod, and you think you have won the lottery. Haha, the uniform is the cleanest thing you have ever touched. You laugh with the others, trying on helmets that will one day cook your brain. The first time you plug in, you see a world that doesn't exist yet. You feel powerful, moving mountains with a thought. Even the tasteless paste tastes like victory. Even the tasteless paste tastes like victory. You stare at the poison wasteland and imagine the green future you will bring. Your supervisor points to the distant dome, the only clean place on Earth. You ask if you will get to live there. He doesn't answer. You sign the lifetime contract without reading a single word. The exit button grays out forever. The training gets harder, forcing you to ignore the red warnings in your eyes. You tell yourself the headache is just weakness. Leaving the body. Graduation day, you are officially a recliner. They open the doors to the main floor, a cathedral of noise and wire. You step into your pod, and the door seals you in. The real Neuralink hurts more than the simulation. But through the camera, you are a titan of steel. You lay the first stone of the tower, believing you are saving the world. But days turn into months of the exact same motion. Drift for a second, and the chair shocks you awake. 12 hours later, you stumble out, blinded by the corridor lights. You check your pay, but the deductions have eaten it all. You argue with the kiosk, but it just prints a receipt of your debt. Your supervisor doesn't talk about Eden anymore. One day, your drone camera sees a bird suffocate in the fumes. The system overrides your controls to bury it like trash. The medic says your brain is degrading within an acceptable limit. Then they hand you the bill for telling you that you are dying. The quotas go up, and the red lights never stop spinning. Your hands fly across the interface, controlling 3 lives at once. When a drone slips on a cliff, the feedback jolts your reel. You grab your arm, feeling a bone break that isn't there. High above, the owners watch the efficiency charts, sipping clean water. Whispers float through the corridors about a breach, where operators didn't wake up. Then your supervisor's bunk is empty. By morning, a fresh recruit is sleeping there, just as eager as you used to be. Real life becomes too gray, so you start craving the link. Days and nights merge into one long stream of data. Finally, the tower is finished. The air around it turns clear and blue. For a moment, you feel like a hero. Until the news feed announces, private estates now selling to inheritors. You realize the clean air was never meant for your lungs. Access right ... A few workers shout about access rights in the corridor. Security droids end the debate in 3 seconds. You look away and keep walking, terrified of losing your pod. You log back in, hands shaking, while the system notes emotional irregularity. For 1 second, you hover a payload over the new glass dome. System reads your intent and locks your controls. A voice whispers in your ear. Contract violation detected. Your apartment fills with black dust, and you cough until it stains the floor. You look in the mirror and see an old man at 28. Then your supervisor returns, half his face replaced by chrome. He doesn't recognize you. He just works faster than humanly possible. You realize that is your future. Efficiency or replacement. A massive storm hits the site, while tearing drones out of the sky. The order flashes on your screen. Secure the perimeter. Disregard safety. You push your drone into the gale to weld a breach in the rich sector's wall. The feedback from the storm feels like it's tearing your muscles apart. Sparks fly in your pod. The neuro link begins to overheat. You can disconnect and save your brain, or hold the wall and save the contract. You scream and hold the connection. The wall holds on. The surge blows your headset. Darkness. You wake up blind in one eye. A medic is applying a patch. Your supervisor says you saved the sector. Good job. Then he hands you a bill for the destroyed drone. The cost of the drone is more than you will earn in 10 years. You return to the pod with an eye patch. Your reaction time is slower. You miss a simple command, and a pallet drops. The hood flashes. Efficiency down 15%. Warning 1 of 3. You watch a transport shuttle take the inheritors to the new zone. Through the window, you see lush green plants and clean. Through the window, you see lush green plants and clean water. The shuttle emits a sonic pulse to clear the trash from the land. You take stimulants to keep up with the younger. Your hands won't stop shaking the interface. You beg for a transfer to logistics, anywhere safer. Your supervisor's red eye glows as he says, "Contract binds you to operation. You failed to calibrate a terraformer in time. It explodes in the distance." Security droids yank you out of the pod immediately. A hologram explains your termination for gross negligence. You are stripped of your rank, your pension, and your housing. They dump you outside the facility gates with a small bag. Behind you, the facility hums ahead. The lawless gray slums. 5 years later, you scavenge copper wire from dead droids to buy water. You find a drone chassis with your old unit number on it. You touch the burnt metal, remembering the day you saved the wall. The cough gets worse, reclaimer lung. They call it. A street doctor shakes his head. No credits. No new. You watch a rich kid's pet dog get a gold-plated cyber leg replacement nearby. You walk to the massive perimeter wall of Zone 4. Through a crack in the blast shield, you see the paradise you built. Real trees. A lake. People in white robes. A drone hovers down. It's a new model, sleek and silent. Loitering prohibited. Move along, citizen. You recognize the movement pattern. Someone young is piloting it. You sleep on a mat in a room with 50. You try to tell a young kid about how you built the lake. The kid ignores you, staring into a handheld game console. On the street screen, the owner is accepting a medal for reclaiming Earth. The speech mentions automated miracles, but never the operators. You can barely walk. The air in the slums is getting toxic again. The filtration towers are failing in the poor sectors to save power for the rich ones. You find an old disconnected control pod in a junk pile. You climb inside, curling up in the molded seat that ruined your back. You put on the broken helmet, just to feel the weight again. Your dying brain fires one last spark. You see the green forest. In the hallucination, you are walking among the trees. No suit, no pain. Your hand goes limp on the dead joystick. Days later, a sanitation droid opens the pod. The droid scans your body. Organic waste detect. Your body is tossed onto a conveyor belt with other trash. The conveyor leads to the furnace that powers the Zone 4 grid. The lights in the mansion flicker on, powered by your combustion. Inheritors raise glasses of clean water in the warm light. Back at the start, a new line of 14-year-olds waits. A new kid looks just like you did. Hopeful. Your old supervisor scans them without emotion. Thousands of pods, thousands of lives burning out. The zone grows larger, the slums grow darker. Poor kids become cheap labor. Cheap labor becomes dead fuel. Dead fuel becomes paradise. The wall stands tall, separating the two worlds forever. Ha ha ha. A child in the rich zone plays with a toy drone. Laughing, they have no idea what keeps their air clean. All back to the planet view. A green spot on a gray. From here, you can't see the slums. Only the success. The system works perfectly, as long as no one looks at the cost. You were never the pilot, you were the fuel. The screen fades to black, leaving only the sound of a mechanical hum. Somewhere else, someone lives the same system from the ...